Hi, I wanted to come on here today and I wanted to give an energy update. And if I can, I'll try to do a little bit at least of a personal update as well because wow, things have really taken off here. They really escalated quickly. I do apologize for my absence, but honestly, I really had no control over that. It was just what was necessary. I was moving through a lot of energy, a lot of changes, things happening very quickly, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and constant fluctuations in the energy, and just very big things happening moment by moment, every day, every single day. It was a whole new experience and just more energy to move through. So I'm trying now to get back on track. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, we have successfully moved through some really powerful energy, really potent energy all through this Virgo season, all through this eclipse season. And now we are pressing forward. We're at the very tail end of September. I'm recording this on the 30th of September where I am. So we're just right there. This has been quite a big portal as well from the 27th to the 30th. Here has been a big portal. The whole thing is just a big portal, to be honest with you, but there's definitely some hot spots in here. But we moved through that. And so, what's just recently occurred here with the new moon and the solar eclipse in Virgo, which was the bookend, you could say, of the first new moon that we had, which was on the 23rd of August, was incredibly explosive, of course. We had that lunar blood moon in Pisces in the middle of those as well, which was, yes, and truly magical, as you would expect. And it's definitely delivered, right? This eclipse season has truly delivered some tremendous changes in the energy and the frequency, and has opened up a massive portal in order for those that have been on this lower timeline, what I've been calling a black goo timeline. I do have some videos on that if you want to check them out. But basically, there is a lower vibrational timeline, and then we have a higher frequency crystalline timeline. And those that have been on the black goo timeline have now had the opportunity, the first opportunity. There will be more opportunities down the road. We're not through this yet, but this was a very potent and very big crossing from the black goo timeline to the crystalline timeline. So those that were scheduled for that, or those that are attempting, because we haven't fully got through that yet, we will know soon enough. Pretty much through October, we should have a pretty good view of who has been able to cross over with this energy that we've had. It was so explosive that it really allowed us to cross some of those in the black goo timeline, to attempt to cross over if it was their timing. So yeah, incredible times. It's been very challenging, and I know that it would have been very challenging for many of you as well. Me personally, with this axis of the Pisces and Virgo axis, which I have very heavily in my chart, it has just really been a really profound time for me. It's been a wild ride. So this solar eclipse energy that we had in Virgo on the 21st will continue to go until the next new moon in Libra on October 21st. So because the new moon was in Virgo for a second new moon, basically, anytime the new moon energy basically just keeps going until you get to the next new moon. So that solar eclipse energy will continue onward. So solar is masculine. There's a heavy focus on the masculine. This whole year is mainly focused on the masculine, although the feminines are definitely continuing on their journeys as well. They're deepening in, they're continuing to heal, they're continuing to purge and to receive these higher codes, and to deepen and to truly become a pillar of feminine energy, like I speak about. it's really important that both twins, the masculine and the feminine, become pillars of feminine energy. This process does take longer for the feminine. So the feminine will always go first. The masculine is twice as powerful as the feminine. And so their process is happening much quicker and more powerfully. It's not easier by any means because they have to do it quicker and with more intensity. So it's left for them to take on these very intense transformational portals and to work through and to transform very quickly, basically, where the feminines were given more time to do that in a much softer, longer way. That's how the feminine energy works. It's slower and it's softer. It allows for more time, where the masculine, it's quick, it's powerful, and it's happening quick and powerfully, basically. So this cycle through Libra season here definitely has this eclipse flavor to it, still added in. It's still potent energy, basically. So the masculines have just entered into the rebirth portal from the 27th of September to the 1st of October. There was an occurrence that happened particularly on the 27th that was significant and sort of a marking of this energy. The moon in Sagittarius met with Antares, which is the heart of Scorpio. And this is very much related to Ophiuchus as well, which I have been talking about a little bit, which we are also, Ophiuchus is rising, okay? Ophiuchus has begun to rise as the masculines begun to rise. It's all related. Ophiuchus is a big part of this. Now this occurrence here, this represents the death of the lower nature. That's what that represents. It represents the death of the lower nature. I've spoken about this in other videos about how Sagittarius takes out Scorpio in order for Scorpio to rise as well, because Scorpio has a death, rebirth, a regeneration, a transformational energy, and it's Sagittarius plays into that. Those two play in, and Ophiuchus is in the season of Sagittarius. So it's all quite connected to this storyline. And so that was just after the blood moon in Pisces, and also just after the new moon and the solar eclipse in Virgo. Now this same exact thing also happened on the 31st of August. Okay, so the 31st of August, this also happened at the same time. I spoke about this actually in another video, and I also mentioned that the number 31 is a significant number for the rest of this cycle, and so is 27. Okay, 27 is also a significant number, so don't be surprised if something happens or you start to become aware of the number 27. On the 31st, this also happened. Now, the number 31 means strong connections, okay, spiritual growth in relationships. That's where we're at. It's about spiritual relationships and spiritual growth, and about these strong connections, and twin flames obviously is a very strong connection. So we had the first masculine birthing portal on March 27th to the 1st of April. And that was just after the blood moon in Virgo. That was significant, that timing. And that's when I spoke about the portal opening and them actually coming out of that cocoon phase that they had been in the previous year. This was the year that they come out of that cocoon and they're on the scene. They're physically here, but this whole cycle is about us going through the build a masculine year. Okay, so they're here, but they haven't got all of the parts that they need. Okay, so the zodiac wheel, it represents the human body, is what it represents. And so they're going through the process of being built. Okay, so the birthing isn't a one-time event, actually. It takes a whole year. When we come back to Aries season, that's when it's fully finished, basically. So we're still in the process of the birthing. It's a whole birthing year, actually. It's a whole cycle, but we've just had a rebirth. Now, this part of it, as I've mentioned, which also occurred on the 27th to the 1st, which is so fascinating. So, this part of it is about them deepening into the spiritual aspect of things, okay? Deepening into their soul mission and to deepen into this becoming a pillar of masculine energy, basically, for the next 6 months. Now, the number 27, when you put them together, they equal 9. So we had that first birthing on the 27th of March to the 1st of April. Okay, that 27 though, that's the key one right there. 27, 2 plus 7 equals 9. Okay, and this really represents spiritual maturity. It represents harmony and new beginnings. We've also got that number 9, right? We know that the twins are both a 9. They're 9-9 is what the twins are. They're 9-9. That's the pillar. You have to each become a 9. So it's 9-9. And then we also, with this number 27, have the aspect of duality. Okay, because we have the number 2. The number 2 is dual. It's a duality number. And then we have the number 7. The number 7 is spiritual enlightenment and spiritual growth. And now we're in a part of it here where we have the double 7 energy as well that I've been talking about. That first Pisces full moon, that blood moon, was on the 7th. And the next full moon will also be on the 7th. This time it's Aries. We had the feminine. Remember, Pisces and Aries are the alpha and the omega of the zodiac. The reason for that is because one is the beginning, one is the end. One is the ultimate masculine and one is the ultimate feminine. They hold the strongest polarity in those two polarities. They hold the strongest, it pushes it all the way. So Aries being at the very start of the zodiac pushes him into being the most polarized in the masculine energy. Pisces being at the very end of the zodiac pushes them all the way to that very most potent feminine polarity. So this thing that's happening right now, and then we have the 7-7. It's both on the 7. That's spiritual enlightenment. It's spiritual growth. We have the number 27. That's duality. These two dual aspects of masculine and feminine, but also harmony, right? It's spiritual maturity. It's about harmony, and it's also about new beginnings. This is what I've been talking about. I've been talking about how there's this fresh start that's pushing in. It's coming in. You may have already encountered some of that fresh start around that new moon and that solar eclipse. Even before that, even when we started getting into this eclipse season, the first new moon in Virgo, it may have already started there, because those were the bookends of this season. The Virgo new moon and solar eclipse that activated the south node in Virgo is still very active. And so it's really still encouraging a release of karma and a release of anything that is outdated and that we cannot take forward with us through these new beginnings. Anything that we cannot take with us into these new beginnings. This is still an ongoing process. It's never a one-time event. It's a process. So we are going to be continually releasing out old negative patterns, mindsets, beliefs, routines of all kinds in order for us to be the best version of ourselves. This is still an ongoing process that is really uncontrollable as well. A lot of these, patterns, these limiting beliefs, even these relationships, anything in our life that is holding us back is really just releasing itself from us, is what it's doing. We don't have control over this because it is karmic. It is time to release. Okay, so it's literally, you're not releasing it, it is releasing from you, is how you want to look at it. There is not a need to fight this. You can't fight this. It is literally just draining out of the system, and it is detaching itself from you so that you can move forward. And I think that really is encouraging to think of it that way, because oftentimes we think that, oh, there's something we have to do here. And we might. It's not to say that there's nothing that we have to do, but it's a very natural process. It will literally drop off of you, is what it's like. It's literally just, it's leaving your life. You know what I mean? So if you have a pattern, if you have a habit, if you have a limiting belief, if you have any sort of thing in your life of any kind holding you back, it is detaching from you, and you are going to naturally start taking new actions. You're going to naturally flow into it. You're going to start just, you can't avoid it, basically. It's a flow. Remember, we have the North Node in Pisces. That is our compass, okay? That's the compass. Pisces flows. It doesn't try to overthink things. It doesn't overanalyze things. It simply flows. What do I feel like doing? It's all about feeling. What do I feel like doing at this moment? How am I feeling in this moment? And that's the other thing. We have these highs and these lows in the energy. Some days we're extremely, energetic, and some days we're extremely exhausted. Again, you have to go with the flow. If you have a lot of energy, then you go in that direction. You can't fight it when you're totally exhausted. You have no choice but just to stop doing everything and just relax. It's the same thing also with soul connections. Some of these soul connections that are releasing away, you can't fight that. They're just dissipating. They're dissolving. They are releasing from you, and there's no control over that. And the ones that are destined, because we're living in a time of destiny, those are just being absolutely magnetized to each other on all different levels. Same thing with habits. It's just dropping off. It's just dissolving, and there's no desire to do those things anymore. The desire just goes away. The magnetism of twins right now is so powerful and potent that it literally hurts to be away from your twin, like in the heart space. It just will be on fire. There's a fire that has really activated in the heart chakra, and it's this heavy magnetism that the divine has placed there now since this eclipse season, especially since that solar energy on that solar eclipse in Virgo on the new moon. So yeah, it's pretty intense at times. So if we don't connect with our twin, we can get this really painful heart sensation, almost like, just heart pain. It's just cracking it open, which is making these unions inevitable. The magnetism is so powerful right now that it literally causes pain to be away from the twin. I can always feel when he's going to message me or reconnect with me, because the pain, it gets really, really powerful, really intense just before he messages me. So it's a powerful time that we're living in, because this magnetism is so powerful. It can be felt in the body, and it can be seen. It's inevitable, right? The magnetism is completely inevitable. Whether that's something that you're seeing with them physically, or if it's the synchronicities increasing. The synchronicities go absolutely bonkers, like next level synchronicities. The telepathy, right? This is how that magnetism can also be pulling you together. The synchronicities, the telepathy, the dreams, all of these spiritual experiences, the omens, all of these things are happening. It's really increasing. It's increasing, and it's forcing twins together. It's an electromagnetic connection is what it is. And they are being pulled together through these forces. It's just time. It's time, and it's getting to the end. It's the crunch zone, right? So we, like I said, we got to the halfway point, but now it's the crunch zone for the masculines to step into their power. And in order for them to do that, they have to come towards the feminine. If that means telepathy, if that means dreams, if that means synchronicities or physical action in the 3D. It can happen on many different levels. It can happen with all of them. You could be getting all of that, or you can be getting a mixture or a few of those as well. The divine is powerfully moving the pieces of the game pieces on the game board right now. It's totally uninhibited of just moving people around where it wants to move people because of the aspect of destiny. Destiny is underway right now. This year, next year, it's destiny. And so everything is just getting moved. Anything that has to go is going. Anything that needs to come in is coming in. And so it's just the way that it's happening right now. We have a massive transition underway. We're in the quickening of transitioning into the age of Aquarius, and we have pretty much all of the archetypes, these very powerful energies infused in the energy right now. They're all swirling around in there, and they're moving everyone around. We've got them all there. We've also got a very cosmic presence happening, and that's going to also deepen in as we go. So we've got the energetics happening very powerfully, but we're going to have like full on, in your face, cosmic celestial activity happening right here on Earth. And it's because of this merging of heaven earth. This golden age is coming in, and it's all hands on deck. Everyone is coming to the party. Everyone's coming to the party. And it's all hands on deck. Everyone is supporting, and we are also supporting this. So this rebirth that is occurring currently from the 27th to the 1st, okay, there's a rebirth. But then there is an initiation that's going to happen on the full moon in Aries. So that's really going to activate them into this deep soul awakening, into the beginnings of them becoming a pillar of masculine energy, which is going to take them 6 months to get there. It's never a one-time event. We usually see like some explosive energy right when it's happening, and then it sort of we got to keep working on it. It's never a one-time event. So, there is some pretty explosive energy that has taken place and will continue to take place, but it's still going to be a process that we really truly have to get all the way to the very end of Pisces season till it's complete. There's still going to be challenges. There's still going to be a balancing of these two polarities to really fully bring in the full, complete union. We're seeing it happen. It's definitely underway, but we have got some time to go. So we will always want to make sure that we're pacing ourselves. And if it hasn't happened yet, it's okay. Don't worry about that. I did another video about the 3 groups of twin flames that are going through this cycle, and not everybody is going to be at the same place. So if you didn't have your masculine come in during this eclipse season, do not fret, because there's going to be another crossing. In fact, there's going to be 2 more crossings in this cycle yet. So there's not really a lack of time. There's plenty of time, and there's nothing to really worry about. Wherever you are is perfect for where you need to be. And there's different pairs of twin flames and groups of twin flames even that are doing specific work, and some of it just looks different. It looks different for the different groups. It looks different for the different pairs of twins in the groups as well. So try to stay out of comparing. Try to not worry about where you are on it. Just move through whatever you need to move through. If you need help, I have some really easy tools to do that. You can connect with me. I'm helping a lot of people behind the scenes, and I'm quite happy to help you, get you on your way, get the process going so that you're supporting it. We have tons of support in the collective. We have lots and lots and lots of archetypes and energies within the collective that are truly doing some really dynamic work, and they're really able to connect with us on a very profound level now. It's very clear, and it's very active, so that's excellent. We have all of the portals, we have all of the alignments, we have all of the cosmic support, but you also need to support your journey. Now, we are usually led to the right people that is going to help us on our journey if we need help. If there is some, if there's some method or some person that can help you, you're usually going to get guided to them. That's what these guides are here for. Okay, that's why a lot of us are here. But you have to reach out to us and come closer. You have to move in closer to us if you need support, if it's in your means to do so. I do one-on-one sessions, and it's there for those who need it. But now let's get back to this full moon in Aries. Okay, again, divine masculine. So it's really going to activate them into duty. Okay, their duty as a divine masculine. They came here on a mission. They came here with a purpose, and they are going to be activated into success, to succeeding. So like I was just mentioning, there's all this support, there's all these archetypes in the energy. They're going to be able to open up to the masculines, to connect in with the masculines more deeply now. They have, for the most part, been working with the feminines a lot of the times. If the masculine was in a dense, gooey, black goo timeline, those high vibrational archetypes could not connect with them on a very powerful level. But those that have had a bit of transformation, or enough transformation, enough purging, and they have connected with their feminine, because that's actually important too at times, that they connect with their feminine, because we, give them access to it in a lot of ways. And I'll talk about that later in my own personal update. I'll try to do that as soon as I can. But yeah, that's what will happen there. But they're getting activated into success. They really are. They're getting activated into success and devotion to their spiritual mission and their divine feminine. This is powerful stuff. And the Libra Aries axis is the axis of the husband and the wife. It's all about relationships. And, the husband and the wife, spiritually here we're talking about twin flames, right? So there's a really big focus on spiritual connections right now, relationships, twin flames, and coming together in union. There's a lot of support for this right now. The masculines are deepening into their warrior activation. That's Aries all day long. It's the warrior. Okay, it's the warrior archetype, and it's a high level warrior. It's out for justice as well. It's connected to Libra. It's not a low vibrational energy. It's a high vibrational warrior energy. It really is. And it's going to really have a balanced and positive spin to it, like I'm saying, because we've got this axis of Libra. It's justice, it's balance, and it's positive. It's got Venus in there, right? This is Venus energy as well. Venus is very much a positive energy here. Okay, another thing we have here is we have a finger of God happening right on this Aries full moon, which is going to be supercharging the whole thing. So this is really demanding a choice from the masculines here particularly, but from everyone. And the choice is fear or freedom. We can choose fear, which is that lower timeline, or we choose freedom. So, we're at a threshold of courage is what it is. And so we'll see what happens, whether the masculines that are attempting to cross over to the crystalline timeline will manage to, cross that threshold and rise into freedom and out of fear. That's that low vibration. That's fear. Okay? And remember, Aries declares, I am, right? It's a fiery energy. And so it's really a initiation of fire. It's a fire initiation. And it's also about divine purpose through trials, okay? So there, like I said, there's going to be some testings of the devotion as well. And I see that kind of leading up to this full moon in Aries particularly, right? Where we're going to have to get through the fear, right? We're going to have to pass through the fire. And it's going to be the actual finger of God. There's going to be an actual crossroads happening on that full moon. And it's going to be the birth of the will. Remember, it's the willpower. That's Aries, right? I am, and the willpower. And so it's also asking, what are you willing to fight for? And what are you willing to protect? That's also this masculine energy. So it could be, another pretty big threshold, right? We've got a lot of powerful, potent energy just all colliding right there on that full moon. So that's going to be that threshold, right? Once we get to full moon in Aries, it's going to be very explosive right there. And it's going to ask. But it's not just going to ask, it's going to demand. The universe with that finger of God is demanding that you cross that threshold one way or another. You either cross it with courage or you go back. You go back and you have to, try again later. Like I said, there's going to be more of these thresholds and these opportunities to cross over into these higher frequency timelines. But this one here is really demanding and being tested. There is a testing, okay? There's a divine testing happening, and it's through these trials, okay? We're going to be tested for this week. We're going to be tested for this first week of October till we get to that full moon. Are we going to be devoted? Are they going to be devoted? Are they going to fight for this? Are they going to protect the connection and all of that? Or are they going to go back? Are they going to be fearful and go back to old patterns, old connections? And if they do choose that lower timeline of fear, if they don't really cross the threshold of courage and really step into freedom and into their divine purpose, if they don't, they will still be demanded to continue on. It doesn't mean that it stops, right? It doesn't mean like that's it. There's 2 more crossings, as I've mentioned, for them to step into this energy. But they will be dragged. That's the thing, is that if they don't cross this, because this is a very big opportunity for them to step out of fear and into courage and into freedom. If they are stubborn and they do not do this, the divine and the cosmos, the whole thing is going to drag them to the finish line. Everything is going to get much harder. If they go back to karmic partners, if they go back to karmic patterns, it's going to get really, really uncomfortable. It's going to get worse than it's ever been before. The amount of pressure that the divine is going to put on those who did not cross the threshold of courage into that powerful masculine energy and begin that process, they will get dragged through the mud, and they will still proceed. They will still be on the journey, but it's going to get even harder for them. It's going to get more difficult for them. It's not going to be easier because it's going to intensify. And again, it's going to just because what it's doing is it's creating a diamond. Okay, it's creating a diamond and it's purifying it. And so what it does is it puts pressure and more pressure until it becomes a diamond. It's going to become a diamond one way or another. And this is a big opportunity now to cross that into that crystalline timeline. But if they choose to not do it this time, like I said, it's going to get really uncomfortable. It's going to get really bad. It's not going to be pretty for the next 6 months or the next few months. So it's moving so fast that the next portal and the next crossing is probably somewhere around Sagittarius season, in that sort of area, November-ish, December, in there. And then we'll have another one happening in the end of Pisces into Aries season. So yeah, sort of around there. We're gonna have 2 more crossings, but it's moving fast. It's moving very, very fast, in fact. But yeah, so don't worry about it. If in chance that your masculine doesn't make it, this time, if they fall back into fear instead of stepping through the threshold of courage, they will have another opportunity in the end of Sagittarius season or roundabout in there somewhere. Once we get into those areas, there's more to come, so we don't need to worry about it. There is actually plenty of time, and it's moving really quickly, and it won't take too long. It can really happen. The transformation is happening really, really quickly too, so we don't need to worry about it, honestly. And then we also have some Pegasus and we have some Sagittarius energy as well. So this is going to also be very mystical. It's going to be a very renewing and transformational energy as well, as we move through October, through Libra season, that's still connected to that solar eclipse in Virgo, which is also still connected to that South Node in Virgo as well. Remember, the South Node is the release point. So remember, Virgo is all about taking strategic action, right? It's taking, daily, maybe even small actions, in order to, cleanse out and get rid of some of these toxic patterns. So that Virgo energy is still in amongst this as well, and it's at the release point. It's really, Virgo, like I say, they don't mess around. They're gonna, as far as transformation, they're a healer. They are still, very much cleansing and purifying, but also embodying, right? Because that's the other part. It's the digestive system, and so we have been digesting that blood moon in Pisces, the feminine. Bring it in. Now it's going to also bring in the masculine. That's the balance, right? The masculine. So, Pisces is water and Aries is fire. And these 2 elements are very difficult to actually to balance these 2 energies. They're very explosive because they both revolve around power. Okay, so again, water power, fire power, you try to blend them together. It's usually very difficult to do that. It's very difficult to maintain it. It's very explosive. It's wonderful, but it's usually difficult to find balance in those 2 polar extremes. They're very extremely different, so that's why we have, I believe, this Virgo energy to help us actually digest them deeply in the body. Plus we have Virgo, plus we have Libra about balance. So by the end of this season, I truly believe we're going to have a lot of balance, a lot of harmony, a lot of unions, a lot of really positive, positive energy and connection happening with the twin flames. And we also have that 7-7. It's the lucky 7-7 energy playing out, which is also creating the balance. Everything is supporting unions to come in right now. It really is. Okay, so we have, we really are creating the balance between these 2 very extreme polarities of masculine and feminine. Okay, there's also a heavy theme of honor and independence, wealth, and love. So as I've mentioned, independence is also very important for twin flames, for both the masculine and the feminine. This is, you've got to be the pillars, the 11, right? 11, 11. They're pillars is what they are. You have got to be a pillar of feminine energy, and there's got to be a pillar of masculine energy. And then, you have to, you just have to be both independent as well. You can't be codependent in this connection. It doesn't allow for that. So that's the other thing we will definitely see playing out is connection and independence. We have to balance connection and independence, So there's a lot of, people that still have these attachment styles of avoidant, right? We have these avoidant attachment styles, and it's very difficult to maintain a connection with somebody who's an avoidant, right? So all of those sorts of things need to balance out. We need to balance. We need to have time together, time apart. We have to be okay without our twin. Life can't just fall apart without our twin. We got to be okay if they're there or if they're not there. That's so important that we really manage ourselves in that powerful energy. As a divine feminine, you need to be in Empress energy, right? Empress energy is abundant. It knows its worth. It's very powerful energy. And then the masculine, they need to be in their Emperor energy, right? They need to be abundant as well. They need to have honor, and they need to, be coming from this heart space as well. So we've had so much heart, expansion. I'm sure you guys have all experienced that. I've had just explosive, heart activation happening, and it's really cracking things open for the masculine as well here. Now, there's definitely still going to be some tests of devotion. Okay, as I mentioned in some of my previous videos, there is this dog energy coming in, there's this wolf energy coming in, and it's all about loyalty. Okay, the masculines now, a part of that rebirth is, again, the spirit aspect of it, to deepen into that spirit aspect. It also, not just loyalty, but also intuition, deepening into their intuition, deepening into their soul mission, deepening into the protective energy as well. That's coming online, but there will be tests, okay? There's going to be tests of that devotion. There's going to be tests of that loyalty, because that's how it works, okay? That's how you strengthen that. You have to strengthen your loyalty. You have to strengthen your devotion. And in order to really gauge that, there's going to be tests. Now, for the most part, hopefully we're passing those tests, whether that's the feminine or the masculine. It's, of course, more focused on the masculine, but it could also be coming at the feminine. Will you stay devoted to this, to this connection? Will you stay devoted also to your spiritual mission? It's not all about the twin flame romantic aspect of it either. See, this is the thing. This is a collective connection. It's a collective mission. So it's not even just about you and your twin getting into union, or me and mine getting into union. This is collective, okay? So we have got to be supporting each other. And that's why this season in Libra is going to support that, because right now, another thing that's going to be happening is that soul collaborations for the betterment of the collective are going to deepen in as well. So we're going to see more people, masculines and feminines, working together both physically and energetically. Okay, this can happen on multiple levels, because remember, we're merging heaven and earth, we're merging spirit and matter. We're working with both of these. There's things happening in the spirit, there's things happening in the earth. We are merging them in together as well. So that's the other thing. We also have a water trine in October, okay, and this is going to really encourage and support integrating our emotions. So this is going to support that, because well, we need to, right? This is like an abundance of that love frequency and just all of the emotions and the emotional healing that we still need, because it's an ongoing process. You know, we've been through a lot during that eclipse season. I mean, the highs, the lows, the triggers, the purging was off the charts. It was off the charts, and we still need some emotional integration, and we still need to manage our emotions, right? And that's where the water signs come in, because the water signs are the emotional aspect of the zodiac. So there will be a trine happening. We have, you know, Pisces coming back on the scene, as I've mentioned from the very beginning of my updates of this year. We have a dance of back and forth between Aries and Pisces for the most part, but others as well. And these two are going back and forth until we get to, you know, next year basically. And so we have Saturn back in Pisces, and we've got Neptune going back into Pisces as well. And these are retrograde. So, you know, Neptune is, you know, home to Pisces, right? So that's home. And then we've also got Saturn retrograde as well in Pisces. So, and then we have a trine happening because we've got Jupiter in Cancer as well. So that pulls that in. And Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. So that's beautiful. And then we have, you know, Neptune in Pisces. That's, again, it's its home planet. It's a comfortable place for Neptune. It is retrograde, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, it's still going to support that. And we will be working through illusions, right? Because, you know, Neptune is all about illusions. It's also very mystical as well. So, you know, it's just, yeah, it's just something to be mindful of, that we can kind of expect a little bit more of the emotion integration to sort of come through there as well. But anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish off here for today. I will do another video on my personal experiences soon, hopefully, because it's been really wild, to be honest with you. A lot has transpired over the Virgo eclipse season. Has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, it's sort of, I mean, it goes way back, obviously. You know, it's been happening for quite some time for me, but it really escalated, as I've mentioned, right, you know, all through that cycle. So I'd love to share a little bit of what's happening, if I can. I'm sure I will. But I just, you know, thought I'd come back on here and just reintroduce myself. It feels like forever since I've made a video. And I wanted to just get back in the flow of it, because it just hasn't been feasible for me to even, you know, sit down and make a video. So I do love to be here with you guys. I do love to connect with you and put my energy into the collective and to support you guys. But sometimes, you know, it's just out of control, too out of control for me. So I have to pull my energy back in, and just focus on getting through the portal, getting through the tunnel, you know. And actually my masculine played quite a big role in that. He kind of cornered me and put us in a bit of a quarantine as well, as we were going through such tremendous things. And yeah, I can't wait to share about some of the stuff he's doing. Actually, I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. I know that, well, gosh, it's going to be October 1st here tomorrow. And so I'm just taking it one day at a time at the moment. But yeah, it's my intention to come and do a personal update as well. If you do need any help, I would love to help you. I'm really getting activated so much deeper. You know, it's really has deepened in for both my masculine and myself as far as our spiritual mission goes. We're both highly activated. He's basically, I'll just give a quick update. He's basically doing a lot of grid work and also really powerful energy work, actually. He's been initiated. He's been initiated into this, and he's doing some really powerful collective energy work. It's just the beginnings. It's just preparation time. Like I said, there's a main event coming, and those masculines they're being prepared at the moment, you know. So He's recently been initiated and been basically taken under the wing by Archangel Michael, who was connected with me. So he's not with me so much anymore. He's more with my masculine now, and now I have Archangel Gabriel and others that are now have initiated me and begun to work with me a little bit closer. So it's always changing, and so it's always very exciting and new things happening. So yeah, it's just an ongoing process. But if you do want to work with me, you can book a one-on-one session on the website. I also have my Becoming the One course. Highly recommend that still for the rest of this cycle. It's a real game changer. It's a fantastic course and information that's just all unlisted YouTube videos, and it really just breaks it down pretty quickly, and a lot of people just experience, really excelling and going to the next level pretty quickly, actually. So that's available, and that's also on the website. But I think I'll go ahead and finish off here for today. I am sending you so much love. I thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you later. Bye.